ladies and gentlemen, this is Trisha with Insectopia, and we are here looking at an old pencil sketch. Now, I was thinking, Lemmy is right here with me. You've met Lemmy now if you were here on our Monday night meet and greet with my cats. I have a kitty sitting on my lap, but he's been fine with me to kind of sketch around, so we're just going to let him exist unless he decides to go up into the camera, because then he's going to have to go up under the table. So, we're going to start, I'm going to start by actually flipping our Beetle over so that we can see its back. Alright, Lemmy, you're going to have to go. He was too curious about the microscope. Alright, so pleasing fungus beetles are really kind of neat beetles. This one was collected in Colorado? Yep. This one was collected in Colorado, but they can be found in Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, California, all those places. I'm going to add a little bit of light to the top to brighten it up a little bit. There we go. That is much better. So this is what our pleasing fungus beetle looks like. A lot of times we do talk about color and what type of color our insects have. I actually already have this sketch done. So we were going to do a line drawing. So we were in theory going to do a line drawing and talk about it, but I thought because I already had the specimen underneath my microscope, I would do the line drawing kind of small over here, and I'd move the specimen around as we talked about it. So, yes, if you would like, you can go ahead and sketch along with me. I'm using one of my old sketches, but admittedly, I think that this one was one from a class and not from a previous live stream. So this could be a completely new insect to you. And if that's all right with you guys, that's kind of going to be my goal. My cat, Mr. Lemmy, he keeps trying to jump up here onto the table, and I was letting him on my lap, but then he started to kind of shed. Oh, he'll be all right. He's good. So I wanted to show you something, because pleasing fungus beetles have this kind of beigey, dark, kind of tan color after they pass away. But that is not the color of these beetles when they are alive. And if you're just looking at these beetles, you might even think, they kind of look like they could have been like a green color or something of the sort. But they were not green either. Oh, it took me so long to find this earlier. I thought I had memorized the page number. I should have dropped a bookmark in it. Cypherotilus was the species name. Let's see. There's a really beautiful picture in this book, and that's why I wanted to show it to you. Cypherotilus. There it is. 438. Oh, I was only a handful of pages off. All right. There it is. All right, so... But who hit it with a hammer a bunch of times? It's all dented. That is true. That's just a natural, that's a That's natural for this species. And it's actually kind of funny because I even have students ask, like, is it the same number of dots on either side? Because it doesn't look like they are symmetrical. And really, the pleasing fungus beetles, they're absolutely pleasing, but they are not symmetrical. Now, here is what they look like in real life. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the table camera really quick just so that you can see this. Maybe turn that off so it's not glaring. There we go. All right, so these pleasing fungus beetles, when they are alive, have this really pretty kind of bluish purple color to them. And over the course of time, they fade into that color that you see under the microscope. And all of them do this. There's no way to really save this color. And so that is one of the reasons to color our specimens and or to take pictures of our specimens. So we also have color references. Now, this is kind of cool. I saw this earlier today, and it's a little bit difficult to see right here in our camera, but you can see it. So, let's see. Maybe I'll get a pin. Right about here at the end of my pin, it almost looks like you've got another little club or like a little mini antenna coming out from the front of the head. That is a clubbed labial palp. So it's like a clubbed mouth finger. And we're going to look at it underneath our microscope so that you can see, but it's kind of funny. Today when I was looking at it again today just to see, and I was kind of shocked by it because I don't know if I'd noticed that before on these beetles. Yeah, so the blue pigment is not a structural color. Ava will be so excited. Yes, this is a blue that is not a structural color. This is a pigmented blue that makes our beetles turn that kind of like pale yellow greeny color. I don't know what we call that color. It's not really the most pleasant color, that's all. Now, 438. I'm going to get you guys the scientific name. I remember the genus. Oh, right. It's Californicus. Duh. So, pleasing fungus beetle is going to be the common name, but that's actually the common name for the entire family of beetles. There's a whole family of beetles that are called the pleasing fungus beetles, and the scientific name for the family is Erotilidae. And then, if we were going to specify this species right here, this is Cypherotilus californicus. There. Double check my spelling. Yep. Alright, so that is going to be the scientific name, Cypherotilus californicus, of our pleasing fungus beetle here. Now, a lot of times when an insect has a location as its epithet, or as that second word, we say that that's likely where it was first collected. Right, so Californicus means that it was first discovered in California. Or Arizonensis, you see sometimes, means it was discovered in Arizona. Or even Michiganensis. I don't know if I've seen that. Pennsylvanicus. I think I've seen Pennsylvanicus. So there's all types of locality-based scientific names in insects. There. Japonicus, Japan. There you go. I've never heard of sinensis for China. But the parasitoid wasp that I worked on at Michigan State, it was Trisulcus japonicus. So I am very familiar with that epithet. So I was out walking in the woods today and looking at fungus, and I was finding spotted lanternfly egg clusters and killing them. But, it rained on me. I was out in the middle of the woods and it just started raining. Took me a minute to get back inside. It wasn't horrible. I do kind of love the rain. Chinese mantis is Tenodera sinensis. Yes! That's so great. Thank you. Man, and I knew that. I knew the Chinese mantis was Tenodera sinensis, so. They are so pretty. It's just that they cause too much damage. It makes me sad, too. Alright. So, I actually prefer to kill them when they're eggs. So, if you go out into the woods in fall and in winter, it's easier to see them because you can see all the way to the barks of the trees. You have less leaves to fight with when you're looking through your forest. And then you look at the bark and you can actually find you can find spotted lanternfly egg masses. And so I was doing that a little bit too. And then killing the eggs doesn't feel as bad. And you're doing more damage to the population because it's like a higher number of individuals. And you haven't given them the opportunity to reproduce either. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and start lining in my head here. The head has the ability to tuck into the pronotum a little bit. So it's got this little angle here. And so it can push out while it's eating or go ahead and pull its head back in to kind of defend its eyes a little bit. There we go. So we've got head taken care of. Now, our antennae are what we consider clubbed. And I don't remember the scientific name for clubbed antenna, so if you give me 2 seconds, I can get it for you. Because I believe there's all different types, but yeah, capitate is the one I was looking for. Antenna that end in an abrupt rounded knob. So I'll go ahead and I'll scooch our specimen down so that you can see. I would definitely call our antenna knobbed if we were going to be using a common name. And sometimes scientists will ask, not knobbed, clubbed. My goodness. I've been mixing up knobbed and clubbed recently, and I don't know why. So they're clubbed antenna. And a lot of time, erotilids or this whole family of beetles are going to have 3 or 4 segmented clubs. So when we look at, there's too much white. My microscope thinks that we want to focus down. Give me more light. Anyway, pleasing fungus beetles have a 3 or 4 segmented club. So if you're looking here, these 3 segments kind of make up the majority of this club. But this 4th segment here is the one that kind of starts to expand and make the club individual. So if we were looking at our antenna, we have the scape, the pedicel, and then this whole section here is the flagellum, and then you would consider this portion here the club, and you could describe it as it has a 3-segmented clubbed antenna. So that's generally how we're going to portray that type of antenna. A lot of times we're not going to use the scientific phrase, which I think is capitate, but there are all different types of clubs out there too, so it gets a little confusing. Yeah, capitate has a head. Like decapitate. Oh, yeah, probably. Yes, there is a difference between knobbed and clubbed antenna. Knobbed antenna, imagine it like a butterfly's antenna, and butterflies have knobbed antenna, and beetles have clubbed antenna. It has to do with the segmentation in between. I think it has to do with the spacing in between the segments. So if you look at a butterfly's antenna, they're very thin, and then the knob is just like a little expansion of it, but you can't see the individual segments. Whereas a clubbed antenna is generally kind of bulbous at the end, or is distinct enough that you know how many segments are in the club. That's how I would describe it. Do they eat fungus? Yes. Pleasing fungus beetles do eat fungus. Now, they actually eat fungus not only as adults, but their grubs also feed on the fungus. I believe their grubs will crawl around the outside of the fungus and chew a nom on it. And specifically, they feed on oak fungus. So to find pleasing fungus beetles, what you have to do is you have to go into an oak opening, a little bit higher in elevation, and find a location that has a high amount of fungus along with their oaks. And that's where you will find these beetles. And it's a very micro habitat, but once you find them, it's not going to be just one. There will be a whole bunch of them. All right, I am going to go and get a butterfly for you so that I can show you what I am describing. Actually, I think I have a butterfly behind the screen. Let's hope it's on the top box and not the one in the middle. Yep, it's right here. Alright, so if you are looking at this clubbed antenna, I would not consider it filiform. I would consider it call it capitate. Just took me a minute. So this one is a clubbed antenna and it's capitate. And now I'm going to switch us over to a butterfly antenna that is what we would consider knobbed. one looks like. So this is a knobbed antenna. When I'm thinking about knobbed antenna, a lot of times they are very smooth towards the beginning, but you can see that there's not a lot of space in between the segments, and they're really, you wouldn't want to zoom into that and try and count all of the segments that make up that knob. Right? So when we're talking about knobbed antenna, a lot of times that's what we're talking about, is where it has this very smooth entrance to the knob, and it doesn't have any space in between the segmentations, whereas we were looking at a clubbed antenna that at the end, it was almost like a ball on the end of it, like a head, where you could see each segment, and they were larger, and they had a little bit of space in between. I could crack open one of my chrysalids and see if the antenna formed yet. Oh no, don't do that. Get a lycaenid, I can't get enough of those stripy antenna. I'm sorry, it is not a lycaenid or a swallowtail. I pulled out, I had a close monarch. It was the one that was sitting next to me. It was the last one I talked about. Yep, must be a monarch, that black four-wing edge. Did you get it before I scooted it over? Oh, look! And there is the moth. That's a Madagascan sunset moth. Surprise! It made it into the live stream. Alright. Let's get our fungus beetle back. And it's clubbed antenna. I don't want to confuse you guys. And so I try to keep a lot of the words, but thank you for asking all of the questions. I hope that I've cleared that up for you between the knobbed and the clubbed antenna, at least kind of showing you what they look like. Now, admittedly, you probably could call them by each other's names and nobody would be upset with you, but if you went and said, how many segments is on that knob, people would kind of laugh at you. It's how many segments are on the club. Where did you get a Madagascan sunset moth? I got my moth. It was given to me by a friend. But I spread it, Lemmy. You are not allowed near the friends. Knobbed is arguably just like filiform with a little bulge at the end. That's true. Alright, Lemmy, will you just lay in my lap for me for a while? Instead of... No? Okay. Cats. Lemmy really wants to help today. He also might really want upstairs, but him and Sammy were they got into a little, they were grumbly at each other today, so Lemmy is down here in the basement with me, and Sammy is upstairs relaxing on the cat tower. And so Lemmy is over here asking if he can go and bother her. That's what he's doing. Alright, I thought that while I was doing this, I might also fill in some of these segments that I didn't get to when I was, when I did sketch it. Just because I kind of want this beetle to be complete. It's looking really good so far. I was pretty happy with it, so I just wanted to see what it looks like completed. You guys ever get to something like that where you start a sketch and I probably could have left it just the way it was, but I kind of felt like I wanted or needed to kind of finish it up. It's gonna run right into the leg though, and that's gonna bug me. But alright. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want it to be even with the other antenna. So, pleasing fungus beetles also have another really cool characteristic, and I actually started this live stream with, an image of the ventral side of our pleasing fungus beetle, and I flipped it back over. But what I want to do is go ahead and show it to you. The ventral side of the pleasing fungus beetle, if you look at the coccyx on the front legs, this is actually better, I like that. If you look at the coccyx on the front legs, they are completely circular. Alright, let me show you that really quick. Oh no! Make the left antenna stick out wider so it goes across the leg instead. Yeah, I was just trying to work on that, and I think I got it. I think I've got it coming out a little bit better. I might want the tip to drop just a little bit better. Maybe more like this. Man, sometimes it's way easier to draw one side than the other, and when I'm teaching, I'll generally choose the side that feels like it's going to be easier. But then going back and trying to match your worst side with the side you did well, it's kind of difficult sometimes. Let's see, that's the one that's starting to get wider, and then we have the 3-segmented club. The first segment is the largest. It has a little bit of an indentation. There we go, that's a club. And then we go one less, and it has that, and then, yeah, that's better. Oh, yay! And it's not perfectly even, but you know what? This beetle isn't going to be holding its legs its antenna perfectly evenly naturally anyway. So that's fine. Happy. All right. Susan, thank you for joining me tonight and so many nights. I super duper appreciate it. Sorry for the random bots that we keep attracting. Silly guys. But we're getting rid of them as quickly as I can. Digital artists often flip the canvas throughout the drawing to help the two sides and make sure it doesn't look weird. Oh, yes! I totally agree! I feel like, alright, so here's the thing. I want to have a symmetry tool. I have a student who, when we're doing our scientific illustration, instead of sketching on a paper, she sketches on a pad on like Adobe or something, and she she uses a symmetry tool that whatever you draw on this side, it draws the same thing on the other side. And I am just so jealous of that. And I wish there was a piece of paper that was like sensory oriented where you could sketch here and then it would just double your sketch. That would be great. Someone invent that for us. All right. For a Lyme disease vaccine, that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna get this line here. This is a really nice U, and then the edges of our pronotum. I like to describe this shape as kind of two parentheses when I'm sketching them with my students. And our pronotum does have this little bit of this wavy edge on the bottom. Now, it almost looks even from what we can see here. But that's because the edge between the pronotum and the elytra is really dark. It's kind of shaded down there. So when I get down there, I'll just kind of darken it up. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and I know that it's taking me a little bit longer to get this ink line drawing done than it has my other videos, but we're talking all about our fungus beetle too, which is kind of fun. Pleasing fungus beetles are another one of those beetles that have a 555 tarsal formula, but in reality, it's apparently, they call it apparently 444 because it has a hidden tarsal. So if you look, so there's a segment down here. The first tarsal segment is triangular. The second one fits into it, triangular, but it's underneath the antenna. The third one is this kind of heart shape. The fourth one is so small that you can't see it, but it exists kind of in between the two parts of the heart. And so there's a little segment in there. And then the fifth one is right here, and that's like a teardrop shaped segment with two tarsal claws at the end. And so that is the tarsal formula for actually all 6 legs. So it's a 555. They have little hearts on their feetsies. They do. And we can actually flip over our beetle and look at some of the hearts on its feetsies. Oh, I was just about to flip over the beetle. Why didn't I? I'm just going to put its common name back on the board for us. There's a lemmy hair on the beetle. There. The symmetry tool seems so cool. I saw some stuff by Alice Craster about how she did the wasp images. Oh, cool. But then she breaks the symmetry to add highlights. That makes sense. Excuse me. Ooh, a cicada field guide. That would be really cool. Is it a field guide for a state or the country? The United States or North America? There we go. That's what I wanted to see. So we can see both of the parts I wanted to see all in one image. So right here, these perfectly round, perfectly circular portions right here, those are my pleasing fungus beetles coxal plates, or they are the coxy. All right. So those are the hip bones for the front legs. As you can imagine, they are super bendy. They can go up, they can go down, they can go all over the place. They actually have that kind of ball and socket joint up there in their front pair of legs. Now, our beautiful, pleasing fungus beetles here, all pleasing fungus beetles have this characteristic. No matter what species it is, if you turn it upside down and you look at that front pair of legs, they will have perfectly round coxia. But only on the front legs. The middle and the hind legs are just like any other normal insect. Now, if we're looking at the tarsi, or the tarsal segments, the first one and the second one are triangular, and this one right here, you can see it has that really cute kind of heart shape. If we zoomed in, we might be able to see the hidden segment. This is actually a pretty good angle. So if you look right about here, there looks like there's almost a little glare, and then it cuts off right there. That would be the hidden fourth segment. It's like right there. That's really cool that she included some species from Mexico, because I love seeing those insects from Mexico, and I know that you can argue that it is a very different climate, but it's not that much different than Arizona and New Mexico and Texas, and so I feel like it makes sense to include it, and Mexico is part of North America. So I really appreciate when field guides cover the entirety of North America rather than just Canada and the United States and call it North America. Do they have hairs all over the third segment? Yes, they do. But not all over the third segment, mostly on the bottom of the third segment. I don't know how to share this with you. I want to tell you how they walk. I think I got it. Alright, this might not work. Actually, it might. All right, so I have a little stick here, and I was trying to kind of individualize the segments, but you've got the first. I don't know if this. I know, Lemmy came and broke my toes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to draw this over here. So if we were looking at the edge of the foot, kind of as my pleasing fungus beetle was walking, its first tarsal segment would be in the air. Its second tarsal segment would be in the air. The third tarsal segment, and the reason why it kind of has hearts, is because that's the one that sits flat against the ground. And then this one, there's one that's hidden, and then there's another one, but this next one, instead of just going straight out and being against the ground, it actually connects back here with kind of the base of the heart, and it goes out like this, and then it has the two claws at the bottom. That is actually a better sketch than I thought it was going to be, so thank you for asking. And so your question was, is there hair all over the third segment? The answer is yes. And that long explanation was actually to tell you why there is hair on the bottom of the third tarsal segment instead of just telling you yes. And the answer is that third tarsal segment is the one that is kind of like the foot. It's the one that needs all of that hair to help them stick to surfaces, to help them walk and those types of things. It's kind of like walking on padding, right? It helps with friction and all of the things. It helps with the walking part of walking. So that is why they have hairs. She was asked if she would ever do a guide to parasitic wasps, and she said no because I have but one life to live. Yeah, the parasitic wasps would be a huge task to undertake. She would almost need to train a team of her so that they could have multiple people all working on the same kind of sketch project with the same style. So our pleasing fungus beetle, and I think that we have seen this type of scutellum in the past. And I guess let's go ahead and flip it back over again. Why not? Are there fungus beetles that are generally unpleasant and rude? I love that question. Yes. Kind of. I really want to say yes. I believe that fungus beetles is a different family, and pleasing fungus beetles is one family, and then the fungus beetles are actually Nitidulidae, I believe. Give me a minute. I think that they are closely related to each other. It's not 348. I thought that it was. Is it 338? No. 438. It's 438, isn't it? It is. So these are pictures of... Oh. Ha. Hey. Come back. There we are. So these are pictures of other species of pleasing fungus beetles. So they're not all blue and beautiful. The one that I have here used to be blue and absolutely gorgeous, but they're generally shades of orange and blacks. And they will feed on a variety of different fungus. Just the one that we are looking at today, the blue one, is the one that feeds on fungus associated with oaks. Now, I was hoping to easily find the Nitidulids. This book is organized by, phylogeny rather than alphabetical by family, and so it takes me an extra minute to find the beetles that I'm looking for generally. I was hoping I'd just open it up. They're not closely related. I thought that they were. They can't be if they're all the way over here. Maybe they're in the other direction. There they are. They were in the other direction. Nope, Nitidulids are sap beetles. Oh, the reason is they look very similar. I always associate these guys and I kind of connect them in my head, but the reason is because there are some that look very similar and they also have clubbed antennae, but the thing is that these don't have the circular cocci on the underside. I do believe that there are fungus beetles that are not pleasing fungus beetles, but I don't know where I don't remember what they are. Maybe I'll just Google it. Let me... Okay. Oh my goodness! Alright, so I was trying to find fungus beetles that were not considered pleasing fungus beetles, that were a different type of fungus beetle. And I found the entomycids that are called the handsome fungus beetles. So maybe all fungus beetles are either handsome or pleasing. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just love the fungus beetles. I guess it could be possible. We just love them all. The entomycids are the handsome, fungus beetles. Oh. Alright, let's get this microscope refocused. I switched topics before I refocused my microscope. So let me give me a moment to kind of refocus this and check my comments. And hi, Lemmy. Hi. Hi. Alright. So the beetle you mentioned yesterday brings fungus into the trees, and the pleasing fungus beetles remove it. That is exactly what I am saying. Hi Trisha, hi Susan. I'm listening in as I work on my insect illustration homework due tomorrow. Oh, very good. Welcome, Caitlin. I hope that you enjoy our time together. Go ahead and share what insect you are working on. Lemmy, you are stepping on my sketch. Hi, bud. It's time for you to get up. It's time for you to go. Everybody loves you. I promise. Lemmy! I just drew on your face. Okay, sorry guys, we're back. So, the scutellum on this beetle is what I wanted to talk about. So when we're looking in between the elytra right here at the base, I think the scutellum is really cool because it has this diamond-shaped scutellum. So it comes out, it kind of starts narrow, it widens and becomes this really cool diamond, and it's right here at the center of our body. So it's something that I always think is, it's kind of cool and unique for these guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep my, I need to get my ink line sketch moving. I started chatting with everybody. Let's see. I love that you're talking beetles today. Oh, great! That makes me happy. And, is this your first time joining us? Because I can definitely share with you some other really cool beetles that we have, after I'm done getting this line drawing taken care of. It's a male striped love beetle. Oh, cool. All right, so I'm going ahead and adding my outlining to the femur, the tibia, and the tarsal segments of my pleasing fungus beetle here. My femur, my middle femur is going to be coming right about here, coming off of the edge of my elytra and then coming on down. Keep in mind that this is still the thorax, right? The thorax continues down to probably right about here. It's just that the wings are covering the entire thoracic and abdominal regions. Oh, and we need to look at the expanded labial palps. Don't let me forget. Hi, Lemmy. I know. Hey, bud. It's like Insect Ink Outline Advanced version. Try it with a cat. Alright, so I've got the legs on my left side taken care of. As you can see, I just left my stick legs on the right side. So I might be changing this one up. So I'm not going to finish the legs on my right-hand side, but I do want to go in because I spent a good amount of time kind of estimating where the dots on the left elytron were. And so something really kind of cool about our pleasing fungus beetle here is that all of the dots are asymmetrical, and it doesn't even have the same number of dots. My favorite areas of the dots are where they're so close to one another that, is that they look like they're two, like they're like little figure 8 dots. Entomologists apparently named all the beetles when they were in a great mood, and then got to the moths and at the very end when they were exhausted and grumpy. I think that's hilarious. It looks like my camera froze, so I am going ahead and turning it off for a moment and seeing what happened. I forgot to plug it in. That's what happened. Luckily, my camera is not connected to my audio, so I'm still here, I promise. And I'm gonna be getting my camera back up and working shortly. The horrid Zale. Aww. Oh, cool. In preparation for your class. Very good. I hope that did you find that being here and learning some of the terminology and getting to see the insects, did that help you with your true illustration class? Now, admittedly, I don't know if I was a scientist trying to give a word to these dots, these spots on the back of the beetle, they are little divots. All right, just like Susan said a little bit earlier, it looks like somebody took a hammer to this beetle and just put a whole bunch of kind of divots in its back. Now, I almost want to call them punctations, but I imagine punctations is very, very fine needle-like holes, not these wide, very coarse ones. And so I wonder if scientists or entomologists would have given this type of definition in the elytra a new name. I took the liberty of closing the elytra on the elytra on this beetle here. I know that the one that I have underneath the microscope has its elytra open a little bit, and you can see the wings underneath. But you know, I made the artistic choice to kind of close those wings. Let's see. I'm about to be back, I think. Nope. My phone is, or my camera is trying to do too much thinking, I think. It's trying to think for itself, and it's not working. What? Alright, let's see if this works. Alright. Winners! It helped you be more familiar with the anatomy terms. Oh, good! Yay! That makes me so happy. All right. See, I just like making content that is useful and that you can learn something and also have fun doing it. And a little bit earlier when Lemmy was here, he lost my pen cap. Oh, no. All right. I'm going to go ahead and crosshatch in my eyes. I like to make sure that the cross-hatching is going diagonal to the center line of the body. And I like to make sure it's going in the same direction on both eyes. Personally, I think that it looks neater and nicer if all of your cross-hatching is going in the same direction. I accidentally did it 90 degrees different from one another one time, and I will not make that mistake again. All right. I'm actually going to go ahead and also incline the tarsal formula that I sketched for us, because I'm actually pretty happy with it. And if I really was going through and making an insect coloring book, I don't think it would be bad to have this guy in it. Cool. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, he makes me so happy. Now, there is definitely another part of our pleasing fungus beetle that we have to see. But first, let's go ahead and erase the pencil and see what it looks like. I was paying pretty close attention to my pen this time, trying to not let it get to go in and out like it did on our last ink lines day. And I think that it did way better this time. That is so satisfying. I can't even tell you. Yay! All right, so we have a pleasing fungus beetle. Oh, and I think I want to... I have to close the top of it off up here. Oh, he's so cute! Erasing the pencil really is so much fun, and it's so incredibly satisfying. Alright, so we are going to be flipping our pleasing fungus beetle in a whole new direction, and that is... Oh no! You guys okay down there? I moved my Death's Head Sphinx moths so that Lemmy wouldn't walk on them. And then I bumped them off the table. Alright, let's see. I am moving my beetle so that we can see it more like I'm thinking that this view should work. For now, I'll show you it from this angle, and then we'll turn and we'll show you it from the bottom also. So when we are looking at kind of the front of the head of our pleasing fungus beetle, it looks like he has 2 additional something or another's here, right? Those don't look like much of anything. Those are those clubbed labial palps that I was talking about. And if I flip our beetle completely upside down, we can actually see, I believe we can see all of the mouth parts of our beetle. He is not upside down enough. He needs to be upside down more. I'm saying he, I do not know the gender of this beetle. Alright, we are looking at a whole lot of mouth parts. Now, I know that the beetle is black, so it does make it just a little bit more difficult to see all of the individual pieces. So I'm going to be pointing them out to you just so that maybe you will, you'll be able to see them a little bit better. There is this piece here and this piece here that look like they're coming towards the center and they're very thin. Those are the mandibles. That's where my beetle is chewing and eating its food. If you look down here at the bottom, it almost looks like there's a plate here and it has a couple of extra, I don't know, projections off of the front. That's the lower lip. Alright, so that one sits down here. It's the lower lip. The next piece up is what we consider the maxilla. And then we have the mandibles. And then way up here on the top, you can see that there's this piece here that is really smooth and semi-rectangular. That piece up there is the labium, or the upper lip. So we have the lower lip, the maxillary, the mandibles, and the upper lip, all you can see it from here, which is kind of cool. Now, the other thing that we can see are the labial palps. So if you look here, this is the bottom jaw, and it's, if it has 2 palps, one coming off of each side, and it's coming up, and it actually goes up and around and kind of curves up the side of my beetle's mouth. That is not its natural resting position. Its natural resting position is going to be kind of out. They use it to feel around. And to kind of, my guess is that they use it to almost pre-taste what they're walking on to see if the fungus is good. That would be my guess. But, there you go. You've got these nice, wide, kind of clubbed labial palps, which I think is unique. We hadn't seen anything like that before. And from the top, I almost think that it almost looks like a sausage. It's kind of funny. So he uses clubs to bash it into submission. That is exactly what it is. Yep. No. Unfortunately, he's not bashing anything into submission. Alright, so that is what I was thinking about doing for the day. I mean, we could do a basic another line drawing of a different insect. I do have a handful of other things I need to get to tonight, unfortunately. So, if it was alright with you ladies, I would be okay being done at the hour. How are you feeling? I wonder what other sketches I have in this book. I think this is a new book. Yeah, I just have the Chinese mantis that we called the Bratz Chinese mantis because I made its head too big and it looks like a Bratz doll praying mantis. Ha ha ha. Yes, it's totally reasonable. Yeah, and sleep has to happen every now and again. I appreciate it. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and for giving me a chance to talk about placing fungus beetles a little bit more. I do absolutely love them. I've collected them twice. I've collected them in both Colorado and Arizona. And they are always exciting to find because of their beautiful blue coloration. And admittedly, it is a pigment, but I don't know where they get it from if it fades so quickly. So I am curious about the blue pigment in its elytra. We'll see if it can come up with an answer to that. Now, I also teach on OutSchool. It's a platform for students ages 5 to 8, 9 to 12, and all the way up into high school. I can teach all of the students. We have weekly insect studies, junior bug club. I'm also recently trying to get a class accepted that is all about insect pinning and keeping and maintaining a collection. So I very much look forward to that. If you know a student who would really enjoy going and taking a class from me, all of these classes are on Zoom rather than YouTube. So they can meet each other and they can meet other bug lovers from not only around the country but around the world. And I think that is so cool. Now over there, I have a reminder to make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. And if you hit that little notification bell, your phone will buzz and ring and let you know when I'm live, and that's so exciting. So go ahead and do that. Now, that QR code is just is for donations, and I know many of you are already regularly donate to my channel, and I super duper duper appreciate it. It means the absolute world to me. And so for all that you do and for keeping me sane and allowing me to talk to you through the YouTube world, I thank you so much. If you are looking for me on a social media platform and you're just typing in @Insectopia, you may not find me because you need to add the 2015 in there. Unless you're on TikTok, because I did jump in and steal Insectopia before anybody else could. All right, so thank you so much for hanging out with me, ladies. Tomorrow we will be doing a sketch with pencil from our microscope, and I'm going to be picking a random. I'm trying to bring a centipede tomorrow. I need to remember to collect a centipede tomorrow so that we have a specimen to sketch. Yeah, we're going to do that. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you again. This has been day 26 of Invertober. Man, our month is closing in on an end. Was I able to find a centipede? I will find a centipede. I have not found a house centipede. So tomorrow I will be going out and collecting a stone centipede. All right, have a wonderful day, and I will see you around. Stay buggy.